70,000 Real Madrid fans came to the Bernabeu expecting a war. Cristiano Ronaldo was waiting. Jose Mourinho had a plan. And Barcelona had walked into the home of their greatest rival with a place in the Champions League final at stake. For more than an hour, the game was tense, angry, and scoreless. Then Lionel Messi took over. First came one goal. Then, with 3 minutes remaining, Messi collected the ball and started running. Seconds later, the Bernabeu was stunned into disbelief. This wasn't just another Clásico. It became one of the nights Messi himself would never forget. To understand what happened that night, you have to understand what came before it. Barcelona and Real Madrid weren't simply rivals. In the spring of 2011, they were almost impossible to separate. In just 18 days, the two giants were scheduled to face each other 4 times. In La Liga, the Copa del Rey final, and twice in the Champions League semi-finals. Cristiano Ronaldo had already hurt Barcelona, scoring the winning goal in the Copa del Rey final just 1 week earlier. And waiting on the Madrid bench was Jose Mourinho, a coach famous for finding ways to frustrate Barcelona's attack. By the time Messi walked into the Bernabeu on April 27th, this rivalry had become more than football. Every tackle mattered, every argument felt personal. And now, only 2 matches separated one of these teams from the Champions League final. The opening minutes immediately showed what kind of night this would become. Madrid weren't interested in giving Barcelona time to breathe. They pressed, challenged, and tried to disrupt the rhythm that made Guardiola's team so dangerous. Barcelona controlled possession, but clear chances were difficult to find. Every time Messi moved toward the ball, white shirts seemed to close around him. The tension kept rising. Players argued. Challenges became heavier. The benches reacted to almost everything. Then the match reached boiling point. Just after the hour mark, Madrid defender Pepe was shown a red card following a challenge on Dani Alves. Suddenly, Madrid were down to 10 men. Jose Mourinho protested the decision and was sent away from the touchline. The entire atmosphere changed. Barcelona now had space. Madrid were forced deeper. And with less than half an hour remaining, the player Madrid feared most was still waiting for his moment. Lionel Messi hadn't scored yet, but the game had just opened for him. The first leg had left Madrid with a mountain to climb. They arrived in Barcelona needing to overturn a 2-goal deficit, and from the opening minutes, they had no choice but to attack. But Barcelona stayed calm. They absorbed the pressure, controlled possession, and waited for the opening. Then, early in the second half, Pedro struck. Madrid responded quickly through Marcelo, giving them a flicker of hope, but the comeback never came. As the minutes disappeared, Barcelona controlled the tie and held firm. The final whistle confirmed it. 1-1 on the night. 3-1 on aggregate. After 4 brutal clashes in just 18 days, Barcelona had survived their fiercest rivals. And now, only one opponent stood between them and European glory. May 28, 2011. Wembley Stadium. Barcelona had survived Real Madrid, but one final obstacle remained: Manchester United. For the first 20 minutes, United pressed aggressively and tried to disrupt Barcelona's rhythm. Then Barcelona found their way through. Xavi slipped a perfectly weighted pass into space, and Pedro fired Barcelona ahead. But United responded. Wayne Rooney combined brilliantly with his teammates before finishing into the corner. 1-1. For a moment, the final was balanced. Then the second half began and Barcelona took complete control. Messi received the ball outside the penalty area, found a small pocket of space and fired low beyond the goalkeeper. Barcelona were ahead again. Minutes later, David Villa curled a beautiful finish into the top corner. 3-1. United kept fighting, but Barcelona's passing simply became impossible to contain. When the final whistle arrived, Barcelona were champions of Europe, and at the centre of it all was Messi. Winning at Wembley should have been the peak. For Messi, it became the beginning of something even more extraordinary. Barcelona entered the next season as European champions, and every opponent knew exactly who they had to stop. But knowing was not enough. Messi became more unpredictable. He dropped deep to collect the ball, accelerated through midfield, created chances for teammates, and still appeared inside the penalty area to finish attacks himself. Defenders tried surrounding him. Midfielders tried denying him space. Some teams defended almost entirely around stopping number 10. Yet the goals kept coming. Hat-tricks became almost routine. Records that had survived for decades suddenly began disappearing. And in March 2012, Messi reached another historic milestone, becoming Barcelona's all-time leading goal scorer in official matches. But even that achievement would soon be overshadowed, because as 2012 continued, Messi began chasing a number that seemed almost impossible, a record that had stood for 40 years. And by the end of the year, football history would have a new number to remember. From a teenager carrying impossible expectations to a player rewriting football history, the journey had become something nobody could have predicted. The trophies mattered. The goals mattered. The records mattered. But what made this era unforgettable was the feeling that every time number 10 touched the ball, something impossible could happen. And by 2012, Messi wasn't simply becoming one of football's greatest players. He was creating an era of his own.